So it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today. She is back by popular demand. Most of us here, I think, probably know Kim Stanwood Terranova. She is spending the second Sunday of each month with us currently, and it is just always a pleasure to have her here. I love her message. I love her authenticity, and I just really love what she stands for. So please do me a favor and welcome Kim Stanwood Terranova.
Thank you. Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful music. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, so we're going to be here a while. Sorry. Just a little excited today. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy all of you are here. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you to this beautiful center. I'm always honored and so grateful to be here. So thank you. That first song, you guys got me emotional over there. So if I get weepy today, just know, Mitch, you did it. Because it's just like, right, present. Whew, how's everybody feeling? Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I want everybody to take a huge deep breath with me, please. And I want you to tap into your heart space. I want you to become very conscious of your heartbeat for a moment. And I'm asking this morning that you allow that space within your heart to open. To open as if right now you can feel every beat. Because you can. And as you feel that beat, I'm asking that your heart stays open and receptive. Now please open your eyes. Look at the beings you're with this morning. And as you look at each other, I'm asking that you bless each other honestly with love. Bless the individual you're sitting next to and bless their family that you may not know. Just bless them with love. And their family, and their family. We have an opportunity each and every moment of each and every day to bless every individual we walk with and those with us on this planet that we may not see. We have an opportunity to bless every individual, even those we do not see, every moment of our lives. Every heartbeat, we have an opportunity right then to think, my heart is beating, someone else's heart is beating on this planet, and I'm tapping into that universal heartbeat and accepting peace and love. There's a lot happening right now on this planet. Are we in agreement with that? That was good. That's exactly what it is right there, is that. I want to read something to you. And as I'm reading things today, I'm reading to you from different spiritual masters that I have tapped into this week, specifically because there's a lot vibrating on this planet. And I want us to vibrate with our heartbeat of love being what leads us, that we have that opportunity. So no matter what is occurring in the world, that our heartbeat of love is leading us. Can we agree to that? Brilliant. Marianne Williamson starts with this in The Gift of Change. She says, "We live in a world where judgments are made quickly and easily. Lies are told about people in printed and irresponsible press. Anyone can say whatever they want on their website and appear credible. People tear down others' reputations and assassinate people's characters like it's a sport. It is time for us to lift out of that and stand in our greatness." She says, "Today, living in our greatness takes on an urgency beyond fulfilling our individual dreams. Bringing forth our greatness is critical to the survival of the species. Because only if you get to live out your potential and I get to live out mine will the world be able to live out its own. Since limited thinking produces limited results, supporting others and believing in themselves helps to move the entire world forward. And becoming who we're capable of being, regardless of other people's opinions, is part of our responsibility. Part of our responsibility to ourselves and to God. In the fullness of what's happening right now, so much is at our fingertips. In this past week, there could be more judgment, more conflict than usual, yes? more energetic field of changes in the air. Now, we have the opportunity today to take that change and embrace it with love. We have the opportunity to take that change before us and know that in the midst of it, that there's something miraculous happening right now. That something miraculous is happening right now. If we choose to look at it from that standpoint, if we choose to be led by our heart, something miraculous is happening right now. Does anyone remember that last time I was here, I asked you, I made a bold request. I said to you, could you please wrap your consciousness around this entire election? Who remembers me saying that? Thank you. Who took that on? Thank you. That was good. I love that and appreciate that. So what I'm asking you right now is wherever we stand, whoever made choices wherever in this election, can we wrap our consciousness around where we are now? Can we take our spiritual truth, our heartbeat of love, and wrap it around our beloveds, those we may disagree with, and know there's something bigger that's being birthed? We are living in a miraculous time. There's no other time in history like this. And we have an opportunity to stand in it and know, what's my truth now? These are when the strong get going, when we hit our bumps and we think, what do I choose right now? Because it is happening. Judgment is happening. Love is happening. Hatred is happening. Joy is happening. Success, abundance, peace, overflowing is happening at the same time that we may only see racism or separation. It's still happening. The love is still present. It didn't leave. We did not lose love. It's still present. What are we being led by? Now, the beautiful thing is every one of you here, if you're in this room, you have a practice, you have a belief system that is rooted in truth principles. This is what we're made for, is moments like this. That we are rooted in truth principles, and we have a belief system, a teaching here at this beautiful center that gives us all the tools. We have the tools to stand in connection. We have the tools to see the light when it's dark. There are practitioners and ministers here that can assist you every step of the way. Can I just please have the practitioners and ministers stand up for a moment? All practitioners and ministers at this beautiful center. These individuals have been praying for you and their center and the world at all times. Can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you for what you do. You have tools, not only the teachings of this center, the teachings that you've known and been studying your whole life. I dare to believe that most of you have been on this path for a long time, of studying truth principles, of studying what do I know about spirit and universal principles, that there's one power, one light, one love, one knowing, and I'm choosing to stand in it in the midst of confusion. That means in the midst of conversations, you get to stand in the light. That means in the midst of fear, you get to choose faith. We all do. And when we all choose it together, then we start bending into each other, and circumstances will change because we're standing in faith even when we're scared. How many felt fear come up this week? We could be honest. And can we love ourselves through the fear? Can we love ourselves and walk through the center of it and know, and even now, I'm going to walk and just stand in pure love. This is our opportunity right now, that we are in the midst of change, and we are in the midst to stay vitally awake and present to what is truly occurring. That each and every one of us has a belief system, that there's one power, and we are absolutely tapped into it. This is our opportunity to lean into that more than anything else. That one power, that I'm going to lean into it, and at a time that it feels full in the world, I'm going to stay plugged in and available to Spirit, because Spirit's going to guide you every step of the way. Right now, every conversation you have an opportunity to stop and take a breath before you respond. We get to become masters of the tools that we have been taught. Masterful at them right now. This is a brilliant, exciting, magnificent time. We get to stand in prayer, stand in intention, and know that our intention is moving into creation, into full manifestation every moment. So what are we intending? when Kelly was discussing earlier about his work and the expectation that he had in it, and I was thinking that that's so beautiful. When I work with intention, it's the intention of what are we aiming for? What are we aiming for each day? When you have an intention that is crystal clear to stand in love, my intention is to connect with individuals on this planet, even if we disagree. We can still stay connected. We can choose to stand in a knowing that I'm not agreeing to separation even now. Because in the realm of consciousness, separation is not going to heal this planet. All of us staying connected, staying vibrant, staying willing to have conversation even when it's hard brings about a space of healing. I had hard conversations this week and they were kind of adventurous. And I had to love myself and my loved ones through it. In my own family, I've got not separation, a belief in separation where one person believes this and one person believes that. And I'm still in the midst knowing, and I'm going to hold light and love here. Because if I just hold the space for conversation and know that it's safe to have the conversation, then right in the midst of that conversation, healing takes place. I said to all of you about a year ago, I asked you a question. I said, how many of you run towards difficult conversations? Does anyone remember me asking you that question? Do you run towards them? Thank you. Because right in the midst of those difficult conversations is where healing takes place. Right in the midst of the difficult conversations, but we must stand in the knowing that all is well even now. That we could have the space to say, I could have this conversation because my love is bigger than any belief of fear. Can our love be bigger than that? That's a big ask, and it's totally possible. It's right here at our very, very fingertips. So when we have the intention to walk into our family, to our friends, to our world each day, and say, my intention is to stand in the light and deliver love, that will be fulfilled. And it keeps us out of expectation. But right now is the time that we have to practice what we know. Practice what we know. Whether we are in happiness of the results of the election or whether we are saddened by them, whatever it is, we can practice what we know. Which means every day, every moment, another opportunity to stand tall and say, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm choosing today. This is my intention that I'm planting in the seeds of creation for full-on manifestation. Yesterday we had this miraculous day up at the sanctuary at my retreat center, and it was an example of full intention, an intention that was set a year or two ago, and to plant it into the seeds of creation into complete manifestation. I have a nonprofit organization that teaches peace principles to individuals around the world, and a year and a half ago, I set a bold intention because Spirit led me to it, that I was to transform my home to a major retreat center so that more individuals could come there to learn these principles, that more individuals can come to be healed. And in the process of that intention, it was planted in the seeds of creation. And I prayed on it, and I've stayed on it. And anytime a how came into the way, I kicked it out at the door and said, I don't know how, but Spirit does, because Spirit's the one that came up with this idea in the first place. And yesterday, when I sat there and watched people walk in with gloves and shovels and plants and beautiful things to plant seeds of love. And my ask was only that every time you plant, could you just please bless it with love? That the vibration that you're putting into the earth is going down to the center of the earth and touching someone on the other side, and someone else is being healed because of the love that we're making today, right here. We don't know at times where our intentions are landing on someone that's never even seen our face. But they do land. Answered prayer is happening everywhere. And when we could stand in it and know, I'm praying and I'm believing, I'm intending and standing in gratitude in the midst of this journey, and Spirit is always, always listening and bringing forth our absolute yes to us, then we get to keep reflecting in, where is my intention now? Where am I now? What's going on in the chatter of my head? And this is our invitation today. Can we have the chatter in our head being so radiating love, especially now, that's what starts to transform every relationship and every situation across the United States and across the world. That we have the opportunity as spiritual individuals, this is what this moment is about, for us to rise up in light and truth and stand in it and know I'm still taking a stand for love right now, and connection and oneness, and knowing that prayer, intention is felt. We are not tapping into a system that does not work, that has not proven itself. God has been there all along. All along, always will be. So we have this wonderful ability to just remember, who am I now? Who are you now? Beautiful spiritual individuals that are making a stand in this world because you're here. You're here on this beautiful Sunday morning. And if you weren't here, you'd be somewhere else. But right here, right now, you have the opportunity to remember again and again and again, what are you participating in conversations? How are you participating in your own conversation? And when fear rises up, when sadness, when joy, whatever it is for you, I ask that you lean in to that prayerful place and know, what do I know now? What muscle gets to be built right now? What muscle? Ernest Holmes leads us always, always, always back to our faith. He says, faith is the most important thing in your life. It is impossible to arrive at the grandeur of its possibility through petty thinking and small ideas. Through petty thinking and small ideas, we could get stuck in the past. We must think bigger. We have an opportunity to think beyond the circumstance we see and think bigger and practice. He goes on to say, in treatment, which is our prayer, in treatment, we turn entirely away from the condition of whatever we are feeling in that moment. Because as long as we look at it, we cannot overcome it. By thinking upon a condition, we tend to animate it with the life of our thought. And thereby, it is perpetuated and magnified. Treatment is the science of inducing within mind concepts, acceptances, realizations of peace, poise, plenty, health, happiness, and success to whatever the particular need may be. This is at your fingertips. Isn't it amazing to think there's nothing you have to do? You can just lean into spirit and say prayer, say a treatment, say intention, and know that is absolutely being planted in the seeds of creation to manifest. Absolutely. So what are the seeds you're planting this day? That's what I want to know. What are the seeds you're going out into the world and planting in your family, in your friends, across social media? Social media has been very exciting this week. Say a prayer every time I turn it on. It's like I got to get in prayer before I turn it on and know, okay, I'm seeing the light right here. And I think we may still have to do that for a while, that people can be fully expressed. And we can still walk right next to each other being fully expressed. What's that like? Could you imagine walking right next to each other, fully expressed, and you may have totally different opinions. Totally different opinions, and you may still hold hands and walk down the street and say, I'm still a spiritual being, and so are you, and by God, I love you right now for that, because we're walking together. I invite you to just stay in that rising up place of consciousness, of to know, even now we're shining, even now we're glorifying, even now Spirit is magnifying the word that you speak. And what is it? Where's your heartbeat now? Years ago, does anyone remember when the LA riots hit years ago? I had this very interesting experience. I was in the middle of Hollywood. I was in an audition. I was trying to get home. And all of a sudden, everything changed. And the city became in major turmoil and upset. Now, can you imagine that from Hollywood to Palisades, it took me 7.5 hours to get home. 7.5 hours to get home. There was no way to move through the traffic and the weight of anger that was taking place. And I came home saddened and hurt and upset and thinking, what is going on? And I sat in prayer and I sat in intention and heard, and Spirit said, you have something to say about this. And as I kept listening, I began writing, and a girlfriend of mine began writing. We couldn't stop writing and writing and writing. And the next thing you know, came up with this play. We presented a play that we wanted to take a stand to show a different opinion besides judgment and racism, that there was something else to be said, and that there was still love possible, and that there were still other options possible. And I took it on, started producing the show, and got all these actors to give their time generously for months. And the intention was to then take every penny from that show that went on for weeks and take it back into the school systems where schools that I felt where some of the vibration of anger was taking place, that I was led to. People said, Kim, try this one, they need help. And so I went to schools and said, what can we give you? How can we assist to bring together oneness again? And I was given lists. And I went back to the actors after the show was over and said, we're now going to go to one of these schools and we're going to stand there, because why should I just deliver these gifts? We're standing there and letting these individuals know that have never met us, that you just took the last 4 months of your life to take a stand for them. And if you can imagine a row of actors sitting in front of high school kids that they never knew, never seen. And these kids, when we first walked in, were a little angry and upset, and all of a sudden when I explained to them the show that we put on, teaching that there's other options besides hatred, that we can choose love in the midst of upset, that these individuals here gave their time so that you could have these gifts that we're bringing to you, because this is what we did, and I want them to speak to you. And when every actor stood up and said, I did this because I believe that we are connected, that, or whatever they said, but I didn't know you, but I wanted to help you. Besides the teacher in the back room being in tears, every child in the room was shaken by, wow, this is possible. And I stood up and looked at them. I said, this is why they came, is because we wanted you to know that there's people all over the world that are holding you in prayer that you may never meet. There's people all over the world somewhere else holding other people in prayer that you may never meet. But we have the opportunity to change the circumstance of the world by staying in prayer and intention and blessing individuals across the earth that we may never meet. These children got it. They stood up and said, thank you. You took a stand for me and I didn't even know you. This is possible. And we just asked, and may you please keep doing it also in the rest of the world, for may you continue it. Because each and every one of us has that opportunity to say, I'm absolutely knowing the truth in this situation. Absolutely knowing the truth in this situation. Nothing is too big for God. Nothing. Very often, Reverend Michael will say to me, he'll say, well, if you had that vision about something, I'll say, it's really big. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And he'll say, then you're right on track. Because it's too big for you, Kim, and you can't do it by yourself. You have to lean into Spirit and let Spirit do it. And then I realize, oh, yeah, that's right. There's nothing too big for Spirit to heal. Nothing. Right now, we get to stand in the midst of it and know that your love radiates everywhere present. So, when I asked you, can you wrap your consciousness around it, even now? Do we agree to do that? I didn't hear you. Is can we wrap our consciousness around every individual on this planet, around any place that looks like disagreement, and stand in truth right there to know that we have the power to stand perfectly in alignment with one another and to seek connection more than disagreement, to seek understanding more than being uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable for a minute. Just keep talking about it. Let me read to you one other thing that I love that Marianne said. She says, over and over again, in millions of subtle and not so subtle ways, people are bridging the divides between us. One day, we will look around and the divides will be gone. both those in ourselves and those in the world, we will have crossed over to a much better place. I think that time is now. I think that that is happening now, that we have the opportunity to be the bridge that is crossing over to the place that there are no more divides. So if we could not believe in the divides and stand in the midst of differences and say, I'm still standing for love. Yes?
Yeah.
Can we go to prayer? I'm so honored by all of you. Please, let's take just a breath together. Get back to that heartbeat that you were aware of so much when I first began. Oh, how grateful I am for this moment, for this moment is miraculous. How grateful I am for the opportunity to know always, that God is present, that love is present, that what is happening right now is just simply gratitude for joy of life, that all is occurring in life right now is Spirit being magnified. I'm eternally grateful. And how sweet it is to lean into that oneness between each and every one of us, that the God is I am presence is our lives, is our heartbeat. So I'm enjoy this moment of every individual in this room and all those beyond that are hearing this word, to know that that one presence, one God is right here within us, and that we choose love now. We choose presence now. We choose to be present in the presence now. For in this now moment, our intention is moving into creation and full manifestation, and we are intending life unfolding in connection, in harmony, in seeking the truth to be revealed for the highest order of all concerned, the highest order of all concerned. So with a grateful heart, I bless all of our choices today, that we choose from the highest order, that we choose and speak and connect with love. I bless this beautiful center, that it continues to just be the lighthouse of love to come to, for all individuals to come to seek more growth, more space of safety, to connect. Yes, agreed and grateful. So grateful for our lives and for love leading the way. I bless us all on this beautiful day, and I bless our families and the world. I bless this country and know all is truly well. And so it is. Amen. I thank you all so much. Thank you. I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.